try this again. Oh, yes, I'm here. I made it. And I give people a chance. A little bit late, but, you know, having a laid back Sunday. I hope that you are as well. Anything for y'all last week. It's been a pretty active week and a half for me, as many of you know. Had a lot going. Now I'm losing connection, but tis life, right? I mean, I'm sure y'all are all going through your little things as well. It is Mercury retrograde. Could we blame it on Mercury retrograde? Maybe, or we could just blame it on irritating people in situations. I don't know. I hope it stops buffering too, Witten. Hopefully the connection will improve. But yeah, how did y'all do with that new moon in Libra? Because I mean, when I put out the astrology for this month, okay, I talked about it, but I think that it just took me a little bit by surprise, how hard it hit me. I mean, there was a lot of emotional stuff going on, for a lot of people. And, I was taken aback by that energy, to be honest with you, and I'm still working through it. And I think that, yeah, obviously it's something that is going to emanate over the next couple weeks as we get into that full moon in Aries that's coming up on us on the, when is it? When is it? It's, the 20th of this month. So Steve says, as for the new moon, I felt like I had to reevaluate everything in my life. Yes, it's like, and I think it has a lot to do with relationships. And when we say relationships, a lot of us think about people, but it could be our relationship with ourselves, our relationship with money. I mean, everything. What am I doing here? That type of thing. Oh my gosh, there's Amps. I have not seen you in eons, Amps. I hope you are doing well. Amp says, hi, Stephanie, long time no see. Great to see you, my friend. Big hugs back to you. I remember I have not seen your name in a long time, but I'm really glad to hear from you. And y'all are y'all are my, how would we say? Y'all are my troopers. Y'all been with me for a long time, right? And my channel's been through a lot of changes. And I wanted to kind of brainstorm out loud with you today. Just one of the things, just for me. If you have stuff you want to talk about, go right away in the comments. Just type away what y'all want to talk about, because I want this to kind of be open mic, open forum today. We're just free flowing, right? All my Pisces is activated right now. Let's just go with the flow and see where it takes us, okay? But one of the things I wanted to talk to y'all about and get your feedback on is, I miss doing tarot and astrology for y'all. I want to get back to my roots. But damn, every time I think about it, and I've even pulled cards over the weekend. I was in deep, meditative, prayerful thought this weekend, pulling cards, asking spirit about it. And I did not get good cards yet again for doing tarot on YouTube. It is just so overly saturated. My reach out here, and you'd be shocked, with 25,000 subscribers, I'm lucky if I can get 100 views on a video. And it's just, and then when you have 12 signs, and again, all the production and yada, 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 it's a lot of work with very little return. So I got a big no from spirit yesterday, as I was in deep, meditative, prayerful thought, pulling cards, got a big no about it, which, I am halfway hopeful that things are going to ease up in the coming year with these algorithms, but we're still dealing with oversaturation of these platforms. So I'm just like, sweet Jesus, what do I do? You know? Yeah, Amps is saying I'm doing very nearly a teacher. I'm not sure what you meant by that. I've been with you from the beginning. Thank you. I appreciate that. And Steve says, I think do as you feel is the best. If spirit is against something, it's always with a reason. I learned that this year. I agree, Steve, and I'm really trying to, you know, keep my ears to the ground. Listen, you know, because frankly, I've wasted a lot of time on this platform. Yeah, I've been blessed to meet people like you. I wish I had more like you, is the only problem. And how do you do that when you're just shouting out into the void? And, you know, I've like followed some of the people that are getting all the views, and they don't have the experience. They don't, some of them are not even reading the cards. They're just, frankly, excuse my French, blowing smoke up people's ass. You know, that's all and they're getting views because they're preying upon the loneliness and the vulnerability of so many people. It's a huge epidemic problem right now, but they know how to prey upon those vulnerabilities and the loneliness, and people need, they're so wanting to hear that love is just going to come in for them and that they're going to get a lucky break. And they're those readers who kind of put the lies out there, they get all the views. And, you know, even if it's not lying, it's just, they're just, you know, making stuff up like it's showtime. But they're not actually trying to impart wisdom, you know, to edify people on a spiritual level. Well, I mean, it's the algorithm that is promoting those people. So it's just, it's rough. And I recently saw a TikTok video about this same thing's going on over on TikTok. And I've been getting some people saying, oh, go to TikTok. And I thought for a while, let me go over there. I think the boat is going to soon sail on that. All right. But I went over there, and man, it is so saturated with tarot readers on TikTok. It's unbelievable. And they're complaining about the same issue over there, that the readers who are lying to people get the most views. And if you're actually being honest with people and trying to help them, it's crickets. So let me read some of these comments. T. Witten says maybe live tarot questions for super chat. Oh, I did that. You know, I don't know if you recall, T. Witten. I did that for a while. And towards the end, it was an issue of not worth it, because I mean, I was doing it, I would do it like an hour an evening, and for me to set everything up and be on camera and get everything ready and prepped, and then, you know, it's actually, believe it or not, more is entailed in it than it looks. It looks like you're just going to go live and slap some cards around, but it's not. And then there were actually some nights when nobody paid. And then this is actually what's more shocking. Well, let me also add that super chat takes like 30% of your money. Yeah. So you don't hardly make anything off of super chat. And, you know, if you want to keep it affordable to people, by the time you get your cut, you don't make hardly anything. And then you won't get paid till the end of the month with super chat. I did try to have people set up to pay me on PayPal, which is a little bit better. But again, like I said, it got to where some nights people wouldn't pay, or because this is the problem, is a lot of people don't understand tarot. And they think, why should I pay for something that I can get for free? I'll just get to the next free reading. And even if it's a fragment here and a fragment there, they'll piece it all together. And so they don't understand, like, if you come to me for a private reading, it is like a world of difference than what you're going to get free on a general reading on YouTube. Like, holy crap, I look at your unique astrology. But people never, most of them don't even get that far, you know? So, I don't know, maybe during the winter months, T. Witten, I might test the waters again to see if it's any different, you know, but I had a bad experience with it. Oh, and this is another thing I wanted to share with you. I remember around the time that I was going live and doing the paid readings live every night for like an hour, Monday through Thursday. I remember one night I got off of there and I had maybe like I don't know, maybe like 50 views. On a channel of over 25,000 subscribers, I had only gotten like 50 views for my live. And I noticed that another tarot reader who had just gone live during the same time frame, who had less than 1,000 subscribers, had 300 views. So I clicked to go watch her reading because I'm thinking like, wow, she must really be amazing. Like, I need to take notes and tips off of her. She must be really fantastic. Like, all these people are just, you know, really into her. And I watched, and she was very new, very inexperienced, was not reading the cards correctly, was bullshitting her way through it. And I'm like, holy crap, how do you get 3 times my views, even though I have 25 times the viewers? I've been on way longer. How do you get way more views and you don't even, you're not even reading the cards, you know? And I figured out, that's when I figured out, it's the algorithm. And I can't fight against it. I can whine and bitch and piss and moan and complain all day about how it's not fair, but it doesn't change anything, right? I have to like deal with it. And that's why when I started like thinking I really have to take my business offline, I can't have my entire business built on a platform that has algorithms that are being used against me, and they can change at any moment, and they could take down my entire channel, and I've gotten absolutely no control over it whatsoever. That's a poor business model. The vulnerability there is just phew, like that's when I started building elsewhere. Steve is saying, let me go back. It looks like there's some messages retracted, which is not me. I'm not retracting anybody's messages, but Steve is saying exactly the same problem I'm facing with YouTube videos. I see so many new readers coming from left and right. Also, the Estonian YouTube section. Yeah, well, Steve is out in Estonia. For those of you who don't know, it's a country out not far from Germany, in Europe, basically. And that would be a smaller audience. I would think that in Estonia, if you were a tarot reader out there, you could get, there's less saturation, right? But the way the algorithm is set up, it's set up to favor the new channels. So if you're an old dog like me, they're not really promoting your stuff anymore. They figure, you know, you need to find your own wings, or, you know, you don't, they basically take the training wheels off, or the floaties off, you know, you swim, sink or swim at this point. You know, you don't get help from the algorithm. And so, but that, unfortunately, what happens is it gives newbies an artificial sense of success, and then when the rug is pulled out from under them 2 years into it, they're like, "Oh, wait a minute, actually, I'm not that popular, am I?" And and I've even heard some readers say, "Well, actually, I'm starting to wonder if these were even real subscribers." Because see, there's no accountability on this platform. I mean, who's to say that they can't make up numbers? Who's to say that some of these followers aren't bots? We don't know. There's no accountability. No accountability at all. So, let's see. Amps is saying, "You have always been one of the best readers there are. Stephanie, don't sell yourself short. I support you on all that you do. Big hugs." That is so, so sweet. I really appreciate it because, you know, as I've been explaining to some of you, my my North Node is in reverse right now. So my mission in life is to be out there pouring out as the Aquarian to the collective, is to be reaching global audiences, online business, and publishing, writing, communicating, speaking. That's my North Node. Actually, my North Node's in Sagittarius, but Sagittarius collectively right now is in the South Node. So everything's like what I should be doing with my life right now is just upside down, and I've had to try to get more into what is, my personal and my natal chart is my Gemini is my South Node. But because collectively Gemini is in the North Node, I've been having to do local business. Thank God that's shifting out, and I do kind of feel it shifting a bit, although I'm making connections locally with my business, and I'm trying to find that right balance. But I do feel as the nodes shift in January, I hope, fingers crossed, I can get back to doing my online work, but I just don't yet see how I'm going to do it with all these platforms being saturated and all these algorithms just, giving me a good beat down, with my business. So, let's see. Amps is saying, "You're my best Aquasis reader and friend. Big hugs." Thank you so much. Get free stuff, Steve Silds says. Get free stuff is also like hook, line, and sinkers. It is, for a time, couple years ago, I ran some promos on my channel giving away free stuff every month. I don't know if you remember, and it was a lot of work. I mean, it was costly too. I mean, I do live drawings and, give away free readings, give away books, give away, all kinds of different stuff to promote my my channel and get subscribers, okay? But what I noticed from that is it did work to get more subscribers and views and shares and all of that. It's kind of gimmicky thing because the people love it. But the problem is these are not really people who are quality followers. I mean, they were just there for the freebies. They really were not making a connection with me. Or my work. They will never buy anything from me. Not that that entirely matters, but some of you have never bought anything from me, and that's fine, but I'm just saying, like, why would I spare the expense to appeal to people like that? It's not good for business. Sorry, I'm going to have to buy another tripod, sadly, because look at it, it just keeps sinking every dang video I do. Okay, but let me look at some of these other comments. So Steve is also saying the algorithm is broken everywhere and it's affecting all channels. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to rethink my way around it, and I don't really know how at this point. All I know to do is to develop my offline business, which I've been doing, as many of you know, and to maybe look at other platforms, which like I said, I'm thinking about doing just some TikToks and testing the water over there, and just see what happens. But even TikTok, I'm going to be straight with you. TikTok is like, all these platforms, when they start out, they're good because they don't have the algorithms taking over. There's organic growth, basically. You're able to get organic growth on these other platforms. So I'm sorry if me fussing with this is annoying y'all, but it's annoying me that it's sagging constantly. I might just shift it in a different way so that it just sits where it wants and I don't have to keep fussing with it. Hold on one second. But yeah, I'm thinking about going to TikTok, and yeah, that's ridiculous. I hate that. I'm gonna have to go buy another one. Okay. When they start off, you can get organic growth, is what I'm trying to tell you. But once they get too big for their britches, then you can't get any traction. It's oversaturated. You can't get the views. It's just, it's crap. And I feel like that there's maybe 6 more months left of that on TikTok, and then back to the same problem that is everywhere. And then who's going to be the next new thing? Who's going to be by the way, I did just get on to Getter. I think next year there's going to be a lot of people abandoning a lot of these traditional social media networks because, we saw, like, I think it was last week, Facebook went down and Instagram went down, and there's all kinds of ugly stuff. That fake whistleblower, that woman is not even legit. I mean, come on, what kind of whistleblower comes in and calls for more regulations? This is BS nonsense. The real whistleblowers, like, people put hits out for their lives. Okay, that's a real whistleblower. This is nonsense. Anyway, there's just so much scandal going on with these platforms. And then you've got people like myself who are just trying to make an honest living. And this is not fair business. And so we have to go to other platforms where we are not wrestling with this constant adversity. So I'm looking at Getter, I'm looking at TikTok. I don't know if you've got any other ideas, but something has got to change. That's all I know. Amps is saying, I have only ever watched you and 2 other. That's it. Wow. Amazing. Because I think that the average tarot viewer on YouTube has watched a lot of different, like, and what's sad for me is I think I started watching astrology on tarot back in, no, astrology on YouTube is what I meant to say. Back in 2012, because I was taken by that whole Mayan calendar stuff, the end of the world going on with 12/21, 2012. Anyway, I started really following people in the astrology community back in 2012. And then slowly started getting into tarot in 2013, 2014. And I've been following the community for that long on YouTube. And let me tell you how many people have come and gone. It is sad. And if ever I come across one of these old dogs, I'm like, holy crap, are you still on here? Where have you been? I haven't seen you in forever. Like, I found an astrologer the other day and I'm like, oh, I thought you were gone. And this is sad. How is it that we find these people on here and then we lose contact? Like, again, the algorithm is not keeping you connected with people. It's just sad. Sorry. Anyway, let me go back and look. Amps is saying it's me retracting me. That's funny. Yeah, see, you're still an administrator, or I forget what it's called. I don't even know the name of it anymore. That's how often I use it. That's funny though. Steve is saying, so in other words, the system is rigged. LOL. Why am I not surprised? It is. It's totally. I mean, I don't know how people are supposed to do honest business when there's a dishonest playing field. It's, it's very demotivating. If like, right, like this is why my kids, they got mad at me when I finally just stopped putting all the monthlies out here on this channel. They kind of got mad at me. They were frustrated with me, like I was being hard-headed or refusing to face the facts. And they're like, look, you're doing 60 hours a week. And for what? They were pissed off at YouTube. They were pissed. I'm going to make me some tea while we're talking. But yeah, they were pissed. They felt like it was an injustice, And they just felt like I shouldn't go along with it anymore. Like I shouldn't give my time away for free. And I'm a Taurus rising. I'm willing to put in the work. I'm willing to be a persistent, consistent person, diligent, and I understand that results don't happen overnight. You have to show up. You have to show up consistently. I get that. Like if I don't get that, nobody gets that. Okay, Taurus rising, Mars and Capricorn in the 8th house. I will jackhammer all the way to the ends of the earth. I'll just keep going like the Energizer Bunny. But sometimes maybe you shouldn't, and that's like something. Even yesterday as I was praying and meditating, I was kind of still getting this. Well, you got to keep going. You got to keep, working hard and diligently. But the whole time you got to really assess, where am I getting a return on my investment? And if I'm not getting the return on investment, I shouldn't be putting my efforts into that. And I'm really, really careful about making the same mistake again, because every time I kind of test the waters with YouTube and I put some tarot or astrology out, the response is like, right? I do like, by the way, putting out the monthly astrology. I hope y'all are enjoying that. I'm probably going to continue doing that. But again, it's work that doesn't really pay me a lot, and I'm not really seeing a bunch of new subscribers from it. I'm not getting additional business from it. So again, as a business owner, I'm like, is this worth everything? I have to weigh everything. What's the return on investment here? And it's sad. It's really sad. Because honestly, YouTube's making so much money. I don't know why my nose is itching right now really badly. YouTube is making so much money. There's this kitty fascinated by my kettle. YouTube is making so much money right now that they could afford to pay the content creators better. But they don't. And what their algorithm does, and I've said this before, is it encourages junk content, like a shit ton of just like machine gun it out, junk content, just fire everywhere and see what sticks, and this is what I'm hearing is going on also on TikTok. Like the only way you're really going to get traction is if you post every day, multiple times a day. Well, what happens when you increase quantity of content, you decrease quality of content. And that's why we get shit content everywhere. And you have readers who are on here blowing smoke up people's asses, making stuff up, ad-libbing as they go. And then nobody, like people like myself who actually take their work seriously, we get laughed at or treated like a joke. It's sad. It's very sad. Um, Let me get caught up on some of these. I talk too much is my problem. Amps is saying YouTube have always been in it for the money. Steve is saying it's getting worse by the day. I hope it gets better. Either they got to lighten up the algorithm, and I think there might be some of that going on as people push back against all these mandates. And I'm hoping next year is going to be different. Okay, like it's not going to be as hard next year with the algorithms, I should say. But if not, that hopefully other platforms, like I'm already getting on other platforms. Amps is saying we're soul sister, Stephanie, and your reads have always been right on the money, so to speak. Big hugs. Thank you. And she says, keep fighting. Please don't give up fighting. You're worth it. Thank you. And gives a suggestion, build up a niche clientele of your own. Yeah, what kind of niche? Amps, I'd be interested. What kind of niche clientele do you think would be interested in what I have? Let me know. That's interesting. And Steve says, if you ever need promoting, I can do that any day without asking any favors in return. By the way, TikTok is China. Yeah, I know. That's why I was reluctant to get onto them. And then I heard that they sold out to somebody, that they're not China owned anymore, although that's kind of, I don't know. Like, listen, I am losing track with all the conspiracies and the China and I mean, hell, even if they're U.S. owned, is U.S. not owned by the China? China? Seriously, it's getting crazy, okay? Who isn't owned by China anymore is what I'm saying. I mean, I'm telling you, like, I don't know. They're all tracking us. You know this, right? All of these, listen, me being on here, me being on Twitter, Instagram, which I am, sorry, I am, LinkedIn, they're all controlled. They're all tracking, data collecting, data mining, selling your data. My God, it is just, I mean, I'm on Gab and I'm now on Getter, but it's like, and those are better platforms in terms of freedom. But I mean, why, the people are not on there. People are not on there. I don't know. Hopefully that changes in the next year. Or I can get more reach on those platforms because they're not as saturated in their algorithms. I don't know. That's something I'm going to work on. But even Rumble, which I'm on Rumble for my political work, and Rumble is like, I've heard of people being taken down. Like this matrix is quite extensive. If you like start looking at who owns who, like you see with the mandate, like my God, how reaching the control is because of money. All we got to do is say, I'm not going to give you government funding. I mean, you see like a lot of these heavily mandated states, why are they going along with it? Because they're depending on federal funds. And you get a state like Texas or Florida can't be easily controlled like that by the federal government. So we're more free. But I mean, it's just, this is like, oof. I mean, as a society, we have got to deal with this mess. We really do. Steve is saying Facebook will be the first to be abandoned, wouldn't be missed. Oh, I mean, I'm done. Like, I got off of Facebook in 2017, as many of you know. Long, long story. Miss Kitty, no, you can't have my drink. Her thing is that she loves to knock drinks over. God help me. Okay, so Amps is saying I'm admin in. Oh yeah, she boots out nasties. Yes, you do. Okay. Steve is saying, and yes, some of y'all, hey, if you're out there, and I'm seeing some new people. Karen, thank you for dropping in. She says, dropping in late. Hi, and hi back at you, Karen. Good to hear from you. Many readers are deferring to live payments through Cash App and PayPal instead of Super Chat. I did that when I was doing live. I would ask people to do that. And Karen is also saying, I was reading your book today. Your niche should have something to do with recovering from narcs. Okay, so can I be honest with you here? I've thought about this, Karen. This has crossed my mind, and I'm sorry, I just can't do narcissism 24/7. I can't be that person. And there are those people here on YouTube. I don't know how the hell they do it. They look totally drained and burned out. Like, how do you talk about narcissism every damn day? They like upload videos about narcissism every day. Sweet Jesus, help me, if my whole life is about. That's another problem that I have, is just like, I'm not this one-dimensional person. And again, the way these platforms are set up, you have to pick one thing and then you be that thing 24/7. Like, I'm the narcissist expert. No, I don't want to be the narcissist. Like, I talk about it and I'll help you. But I mean, I'm into spirituality. I'm into politics. I'm into tarot. I'm into cooking. I'm into pets. I mean, I'm into healthy living. I like, why is it we must compartmentalize all people? Why can't we form relationships and share? I know it's kind of different. It's a virtual relationship, but I'm a live person. I'm a real person. So are you. Why is it that, like, this is the way that the internet is set up, where you pick pieces of people, like, oh, I only want to listen to what you have to say about politics. But then if you start talking about something else, well, I didn't subscribe for that, so I'm going to go over here. I do feel, again, little bit of prediction thing. I think that this is going to evolve over time. I think with the saturation, this is going to morph into a new way of connecting with people online, because there's going to be, right, like, there's how many narc specialists that you could listen to on YouTube right now. So who are you going to listen to? You're probably going to listen to the person that you most connect with on a personal level. How do you do that? Well, that person's going to have to do a little bit of personal sharing about who they are and a little bit about their life. And you're going to have to feel like this person's relatable, because I'm telling you, if it's a bunch of narc experts and it's very clinical, like, how do you really compete? How do you make that connection that other people can't, So I don't know. I don't like being pigeonholed into one topic, and I do feel that's my gift curse. I think over time it'll work out for me. Right now it doesn't, because the algorithm favors you picking one topic and sticking to it and like beating it till it's like dead in the ground. And look at those people. Like I said, they look dead. They look exhausted. Let me go back and look at some of these. Yeah. Thank you for reading my book, though, Karen. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Amps is saying, do you already have a hardcore set of followers, Stephanie? Well, I mean, I have some of my regulars, like Steve. I mean, Steve and he's been a follower that we've been interfacing for a couple years now. You and I, Amps, have as well. there's some familiar faces. I could just like, I could start popping off names of different people. Like if I see their name come up, I'm like, I know this person. We've had conversations off and on the last 2 or 3 years, you know? So I have some regulars. Um, but I mean, I don't know about hardcore set of followers. I don't know. Y'all follow, are y'all ride or die people? Maybe. I don't know. I hope so. Yeah, okay, so T. Whittinson got to go to work. I will watch replay later. Thank you so much, T. Whitten. Good to see you. Like, I know T. Whitten. T. Whitten's, you know, been around for a while. She's a regular. And, yeah, Amps was like, yeah, don't do the narc thing, Stephanie. I mean, I could, and I've got like a narcissism playlist out, you know, but I don't want to talk about narcissism 24/7. And unfortunately, like if you look at some of the channels that are really high ranking for that subject, the content creators of those channels, they put out narcissism videos every day for like months straight. It's draining. I mean, it just sucks the life out of them. I can't do it. Okay, so Steve is saying, I think networking is key, learning that right now for the future. I agree. And I'm learning also, it's a good balance between the offline and online, which, you know, as I said earlier, you know, with my nodes being reversed, I'm supposed to be doing the online stuff. That's my mission in life, to reach global audiences. But with the nodes inverted right now, I've had to do more, you know, local business. And that's teaching me to find that right balance, not to just go to extremes. Because I think prior to my nodes getting inverted, I frankly was like 100% hardcore online business. I did zero offline business, face to face, traditional, zero. And that actually, in hindsight, was a very sad way to live, because I kid you not, I was like in my room 60 hours a week hammering out online content or doing private readings. Like I never left my home. I was constantly in my four walls hammering out, like, and if it wasn't, you know, my online, I was like writing my book, getting it uploaded to different platform. I mean, it was just constantly in the house with my four walls. And again, very pathetic way to live in hindsight. I mean, I thought it was getting me somewhere at the time, and to some degree it did, but now I realize no, that's not healthy. That's kind of an extreme. And getting out, doing face to face is kind of refreshing in a way. It's challenging to me in other ways, you know, because I have to get out of my comfort zone. But let's see what else we have here. Amps is saying government likes to pigeonhole us. Absolutely. According to governments, we're nothing but numbers and cash cows. Absolutely, Amps. Karen is saying, interesting. I totally understand your thoughts. Karen is asking, do I podcast? No, I've thought about it. But frankly, I mean, that would be like, you know, I could go set up on yet another platform and try to reach another audience, which is probably saturated as well. I have thought about doing just audio only here on YouTube, which would be like a podcast format, but here on YouTube, where basically you get a video and maybe you look at a picture on the video, a still picture, or some short video that's on a loop. I don't know, but you don't see me. You just hear me talking, right? Podcast style. I thought about doing that. And some videos I've kind of done a little bit of that, but I don't know. I might actually start doing more of that. Just side note, I've been entertaining the thought of it for Getter, because I just joined Getter about a week ago. And um, apparently you can start doing lives on Getter after your first week there. So, but that would be political content if I do it. I mean, that's it. That's all I'm really thinking about. Steve is saying, um, oh, okay, hold on a second. Let's see. People burn out because of oversaturation of one topic. Yeah, it does. They do. And I think the reason why is because, like, Karen, going back to that topic that the question you originally posed, um, here's the issue. If it was just, okay, I'm gonna just do a NARC channel, cool. But in order to have a successful NARC channel, I have to put out NARC videos every day for like 6 months straight. And then I'll get a good following, but then I got to maintain the following by continuing to put out NARC videos every day. Every day. And then here's the kicker. Why do I want to do this when there's already like how many other channels that have done this and now have like 500,000 views that I'm going to be competing against? I mean, can people like not already get this information? It's like it becomes recycled information. Like I could, like, for example, I could make a whole series about, which I did, like I made a series, I have a playlist on narcissism, and I did a whole series on narcs and money. But look, truth be known, let's just honest criticism, self-criticism, okay? The reality is that this thing that I put out is not original. I mean, it is and it isn't. I mean, you can kind of more or less find other content creators who have done the same thing. And sadly, a lot of people are not gonna find my series. They'll find the other people before me who have 500,000 subscribers. Their videos will get ahead of me on the search results. So anyway, Steve says podcasts sound fun to me. I mean, I like the idea of podcasts because it's less work. You just do the voice. I mean, hell, I could do that in my pajamas with no makeup on, and y'all wouldn't know the difference. Now, would you? See? Okay, like I would have telling myself before I went live today, I had to throw a little bit of makeup on and run a comb through my hair. Ain't gonna lie, I mean, this is like people think it's easy to just go live, but you do have to do a little bit of setup, like make sure my backdrop isn't, a kitchen full of dirty dishes or something like that. Something really unprofessional. You have to you got to put a lot of forethought when you go live and you're on camera. Podcast, you don't. So I like podcasts. I just don't know if my audience will go for it, because I know from the research, people prefer like a face-to-face. They make more of a connection when they see the person on camera. So Amps is saying, we wouldn't get to see you in your smile. Oh, your smiley face. See, thank you, Amps. See, people want to see who's talking. They want to be able to relate on a personal level. Yeah, see, or your personal touches. I would miss my Aquasis, she says. Yes, wouldn't be the same, Stephanie. See, there's a lot of people out there who feel that way. Like, yeah, as a business owner, it would be so easy for me to do the podcast route. I have totally entertained the thought more than once, ain't gonna lie, because it's easy. But will it bring the viewers in, and then will it retain them when they can't see a face and relate to the face? That's the downside. That's what holds me back from doing the podcast. Steve is saying, actually, as a side note, it's all about balancing the scales in the end, Libra season. Ooh, I like that. I like that. And, you know, back onto the topic of, or I should say, tying this into the topic of the podcast, I don't know, maybe some of the things I could do. Like at some point, maybe I will morph my monthly astrology into like a podcast type format. So it's easier for me to just get it out there. We'll see. Not everything podcast, maybe some things, right? Balance, Libra balance. Steve is saying, is the easy way always the right one? No, I mean, dear God, I wish it was. So Amps is saying, sorry, Stephanie, would miss you rotten. Oh yeah, if I did podcasts, yeah, I appreciate it. I really do. So, I mean, tell me, I want to hear from y'all. What content do you miss from me, or would you like to see me put in? I mean, of course, I can always come up with NARC content, and I probably will. I will probably forever be adding to my narcissist playlist. Not going to make it a NARC channel 24/7, right? But I mean, what other content could I put out there that, you know, y'all would want to hear about? Steve said he was enjoying the monthly astrology. I'm probably going to continue on with that. How do y'all feel about life coaching? The life coaching stuff, the relationship stuff. I actually pulled cards. You want to hear what the cards told me y'all want to hear? This is going to be funny. Amp says we're surrounded by narcs. They are. You know what? And then the worst thing is they're in our government and they're in our media. And I think that 2020 and 2021 were years that caused people to learn for the first time in their lives what the term gaslighting means and how to recognize it. Because I think that a lot of people, and even if they knew, like on a personal level in their personal relationships, they had dealt with a narc and they knew about gaslighting, like this is a whole nother dimension. Like, yes, apply that to the collective's, you know, level, a much broader macro scheme, you know, not the micro, a macro, where it's like, well, what does narcissism and gaslighting look like when you've got a politician doing it or somebody in the media? Like, can you recognize that? And how do you respond appropriately to that? Like, I don't think that people had really wrapped their heads around it prior to 2020, not the way they do now. So, Steve is saying a gift that keeps on giving, recycled narcs, men and women alike. Yep, absolutely. They're just, so this is why I don't, I don't go on dating sites, because I remember actually a fellow Aquarian client of mine, she said that she doesn't get on dating apps anymore because she realized they're just filled with recycled narcs. I mean, these are people, especially at my age, you know, I'm in my 40s. So, I mean, people, 40-year-olds on dating apps have probably been through how many relationships by now? And no offense, like, I'm not calling anybody out, but I mean, if you can't, and I know it sounds judgmental because like I'm kind of in the somewhat maybe look like I fit this mold, but you know, you gotta wonder, okay, like, why are you in your 40s and you haven't settled down yet? My reason, because I was with a narc for 20 years and I'm not gonna be with a narc ever again, okay? But these people, it's just, you know, looking at relationships like they're all disposable, running through people like a box of Kleenex, you know, using them up, right? It's draining them. and then dumping them and discarding them. So Amps is saying, and don't we know it? It's worse in the UK as we're being gaslighted by our own government. It's really bad. The US is turning into a mini China. Absolutely. Hey, but I'm going to say this on a political note. Have y'all been watching all the riots and the people that are walking off of jobs? Like, my God, right now, like an hour before I went live, Twitter was trending with Southwest Airlines. They've got like 1,000 canceled flights because the pilot said, we're not complying. And they are doing a sick out. I think it's called is it a sick out? Like people calling in sick. Because they're like, we're not going to comply with this, which I'm like, hell yeah. And then I even saw with in LA, Los Angeles, my God, you know, like you would think LA's so gone, but the sheriff there in Los Angeles said, I'm not going to enforce these mandates. I'll lose 10% of my police force. And the firefighters are refusing to comply, and they're saying it's if they enforce the mandates on the firefighters in LA, that city's going to burn down. They are not going to have the manpower to protect the city. So all of this is backfiring, and you've got hospitals now are dealing with the medical staff walking off, and they don't have the manpower. Like, you can't do this. So a part of me is enjoying watching the pushback and helping these people understand, like, oh, you think you can push that far? Oh, let me show you how far you can really push. Okay, like, you can't do this. You can't get away with this. Like, and if you try, this is what's going to happen. I love watching humanity push back, and I'm seeing it not just in the US, but I'm seeing riots all over the world. Like, they're building by the day. I've been seeing Italy, France. Like, it is crazy how many, Australia. Love watching Australia, because for a while there I'm like, oh my gosh, like if you follow the hashtag Australia has fallen. Hashtag Australia has fallen. My God, so sad. But they are standing up. You had that female police officer in Australia was a whistleblower, and she's like, most of the police do not even agree with this, and I'm quitting effective now, because I know as soon as this broadcast cuts off and I get off camera, they're firing me. And she said most of the police officers that she was speaking out for, they don't even want it. So you know what? There's confirmation every day. And you look at the astrology, and this is just going to continue escalating. Look, we are getting out of retrogrades this month. A lot of forward movement with that. And then we get into November, December, eclipse season. There's going to be a lot of holy shifts. Shit is going to cut loose. I'm telling you, like, it's about to get real, people. It's about to get real. I think a real fight is on. Okay. It's just been on a slow boil up till now, but I think it will boil over by the end of this year. And ain't no telling what's going to happen in 2020. Like, that's a whole nother topic. Let me look at some of these comments. Steve is saying life coaching would be very fine example of why people fail to make healthy relationships. Yeah, and dating apps are the worst. Been there, done that, not worth my time. And Spirit told me it was a waste of time, but I did not listen and later paid the price. Ooh, so sorry. Same here, Steve. We got the same experience. I had a lot of people like pressure me and say, oh gosh, let me show you how it works now. I mean, you've just been out of the dating scene for so long. Let me show you. People don't date like that anymore. You've got to get online. Everybody's getting online. This is the new normal. I get on there, I'm like, and my spirit was like, I was looking at some of these profile pics and I'm like, oh no. And I talked to some of these people and it was just even more like, nah, I'm not feeling it. I'm so not feeling it. You gotta really listen to spirit about this stuff. Amps is saying you're 40 years young, Stephanie. Be open to love and never too young or too old to love. Girl, I'm Venus and Pisces. I'm like too open to love. That's my damn problem. Yeah, and with my rising in Taurus, I mean, Venus is my ruling planet, okay? Like, my God, and I've got a Venus in, not only is my Venus in Pisces, my moon is in Pisces. I can love, I can love, I can love, all right? Please don't get me wrong. That's my problem. Yeah, that's my problem. I have to, and I say this to all my Venus and Pisces friends, you have to guard that. You have to guard that because you have to understand that not everybody loves like Venus and Pisces. Venus and Pisces loves eternally, eternally. And you can't give that away to just everybody. You have to pre-qualify people for that. It's very precious. It's very sacred. There are a lot of people, and I'm not trying to like on their love nature, but there are some people who have a very innocent love nature. They love innocently. They're in the moment. They fall in love easily. They fall out of love easily. Venus and Pisces loves forever, eternally. They love your spirit. That's what they fall in love with. And so please do not misunderstand me. I am all about the love. Here's the problem that I learned the hard way. Please don't call me a negative Nancy. I'm just stating the facts, stating the truth. It's very offensive. A lot of people don't care about love. They really don't. Like, you get out there and date and you start realizing most people just want a good time. They don't care about love. They don't care about life partnering. They certainly don't care about that. Because what is love? Love is about taking another person's best interest as your own. Well, they want other people to do that for them, but they don't want to do that for people. This is a state of humanity. We're having a crisis, a spiritual crisis of love, knowing what real love is, giving and receiving it. And so I've had to guard my heart against people like that. And unfortunately, it's like the narcs, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. And then on the whole life partnering thing, people don't want a life partner, especially, oh my God, men, no offense, like Steve, not, I know you don't, this is not you, okay? But particularly men my age do not want a life partner because they associate that with burden, risk. They're not interested in sharing sacrifice. They are not interested in helping others, burden sharing, okay? They're interested in a good time is what they're interested in. They want to feel good and they want to keep everything light and fluffy. They don't want responsibility. They don't want commitment. They don't want expectations. They want things loose and open-ended. Basically, they just want to get laid. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude. But I have been single since 2015, okay? And I'm telling you, I've been around. Like, not in that kind of way, but I've been out there and I've seen what is available. It ain't much to write home about. It's not. Like, I am all about love, but a lot of people aren't. It's a sad lesson that I have learned. Hold on a second, Miss Kitty's trying to get on my computer. So let me look at some of the comments here because I went on a bit of a tangent there now, didn't I? I went on a roll. Sorry. Okay. Charter is here. I think I recognize that name. Says, hello, everyone. Pilots are going to be replaced with drones. That's all premeditated provocation. Possibly, I mean, they're trying to do that with the cars as well. But unfortunately, their timing sucks because they don't have the drones lined up just yet to take the planes. Now, do they? They've got 1,000 canceled flights. Yes, probably in the future they will use this to justify replacing the pilots. I could totally see that. And regardless, they'll be like, we really need to get that fast tracked, that program, so that we can do what we want to do and get away with it next time. So, I mean, I hear you on that, but right now, fight the power. Okay, Amps is like, I'm in my 50s, Stephanie, and open to love. I know, girl, I hope you find it. I do. I hope all of us looking for love find it. But I mean, we got to find compatibility. And this is something I've been talking to, like when I did a recent local event, okay, I was talking to some young girls and they want to know about their love lives. And I'm like, I did the quick tarot reading, but I told them you should really come to me for the ideal life partner reading, where I really get into your natal chart. I do the astrology. It's not just tarot, but I look at the astrology and I look at your love nature. I look at who is your ideal partner. I look at different placements in your chart to kind of advise you so you don't waste your time on things that are just not right and fitting for you. And I think it's really important to understand what's compatible. It's right. I mean, I've tried to live off of love under a bridge. It didn't work out too well. So I'm like all about the love thing, but I guess the more mature me is like, yeah, look at the compatibility as well, not just love. Okay, Amps is saying I have a Venus in Capricorn and you thought Pisces is bad. Well, I mean, Venus and Pisces to me, like, Venus and Pisces is like, you better bring it. You better bring the substance, because if you don't, I'm gonna lose that love and feeling. You better bring the substance. You better bring the status. They can really fall in love with people at work. They have to be with somebody who elevates their status. Like, I don't think Venus and Pisces, I'm sorry, I don't think Venus and why do I keep saying that? Venus and Capricorn. I don't think Venus and Capricorn is gonna marry somebody broke as a joke. They won't. They're not gonna marry for love and live under a bridge. Like, that's not even up for discussion with Venus in Capricorn. And I'm not throwing any shade at you for that at all. That's a downfall of Venus and Pisces. We will like live under a bridge off of love and then wonder why our hearts are broken, We'll live sacrificially for somebody and fall in love with somebody who just flat doesn't deserve it. And I have to be super, super careful because, and also in my natal chart, my North Node is in the 7th house in Sagittarius, but Neptune is also there. That's the kicker. Like, partnership is super, super important to me. Like, it is a deal breaker if somebody does not want a partner in life. But what makes this really, like, I have to watch myself. I've learned from understanding my birth chart, I have to watch myself, because with Neptune right there in that 7th house, I can easily be deceived. And, my moon in Pisces, my Venus in Pisces loves to idealize stuff, right? Like, this is why I kind of got victimized by narcs future selling me. And that was like something I had to really work through in my 20s and 30s, hard lessons about what the images or the illusions that people are projecting out to you as the ideal partner, and seeing beyond it, seeing the sober truth which could be really hard because you just like maybe like your Venus and Pisces, but you want to love them. You want it to work out. You want to believe them. But it's all hot air, you know, it's all illusion. And you end up disillusioned, you know, so tough lessons I've had to learn. Oh, okay. Oksana from London. Yes, I think, did I do a reading for you before? I think I remember you. I think I remember you, Oksana from London, or I might have you confused with somebody else. And if I do, I'm sorry. Let me go back here. I missed some really good comments too. And here we go with this thing sagging again there. Okay. I think that's funny that Venus, Charter says Venus and Capricorn is regimented love of bankers. Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, no offense, it ain't sexy. I don't know if I could do it. I don't think I could do Venus and Capricorn. I'm not a fan of Venus and Aquarius. I mean, you know, I'm an Aquarian. I have 3 Aquarius placements. I have, my dad had a Venus and Aquarius, a good friend of mine, Venus and Aquarius. I'm not a fan of that placement either. I think Venus in Taurus is awesome. Like, anybody got a Venus in Taurus? Like, hey, like, I love that. I think probably Venus and Leo would be good too. Yeah. Let me go back and look at some of this. I'm sorry I'm picking on some of y'all with your Venus placements. Yeah, let me look at some of these. Charter says Venus and Aries is Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe. Yeah, that's, yeah, I'm not, I have a love-hate relationship with Venus and Aries. And that's kind of, I've had to learn a lot through them. Like, I learned a lot through Aries. And I was just recently talking to an Aquarian about that I did a reading for a couple days ago. And I said, you know, because it was showing up in her reading, like it shows up in a lot of Aquarians' readings, like we have been other focused to our own detriment. And I told her, I said, you know how to fix that? Get around an Aries. They will show you how to think about yourself because they're good at it. They're really good at it. And you can show them how to think of others because you're really good at that. It's like we have to get this balance, right? It's back to this Libra season stuff, right? Get the balance. Sorry, now my kitty's getting frisky and climbing all over stuff. Let me see what else is going on here on these comments. Amps said they don't even know what love or self-sacrifice is, or the giving and receiving true. People see marriage as a jail sentence, and that's so sad. It really is. It really is. I see Steve is agreeing with that comment. Anakai, that's a familiar name, is, I believe, I think I've seen your name before. Welcome in, if you're still here. It says 555 is the underworld, 666 is our body, our mind is 777 is the new cosmic. God mind frequency in your head, 777 in Hindu philosophy means basically the inner cause. Each of us confronts our own truth, our own path, magnify, sense, magnificence. Interesting, very deep stuff, Anakai. All right, so, and also says the gospel according to Thomas, Jesus says many are standing before the door, but it is the solitary ones who will enter the wedding hall. Deep stuff, deep stuff. So Steve is saying the 20th of October should be the full moon in Aries, and it will hit my moon sign very much exact. Whoa, that should be potent. Potent. Buckle up. I don't know about that new moon coming, because the full moon, the new moon was a lot. That new moon caught me by surprise. And so I'm kind of not sure about this full moon on the 20th. So yeah, Amps is saying I'm worse than you when it comes to love. I'm very, very picky, Stephanie, when it comes to love. I bet you are. I bet you don't let them rob you. I'll say that much. I mean, that's something about Capricorn. Do not ever mess with a Capricorn's money. They are always, always keeping a ledger in that head of cost benefit analysis. And if you make a subtraction out of their bank account, you better believe they're looking for you to make the addition. And if you don't, they're going to make it right. They will be reconciling that bank statement in their head. Oh my gosh. Charter is saying my mother has transitioning Neptune on her descendant. And I worry for her because she is 63 and is constantly falling in love with some jerks. It's hopeless. Yeah, I know. It's like, hey, that's basically Neptune in the 7th house. Okay, this is exactly what I was talking about earlier, Charter. And you know, this is the thing. When you become self-aware and you look at your chart, you understand these things. You're like, you know, might want to slow down, Stephanie, might want to slow down. You know, when they tell you that, you know, they love you, just slow it down a bit. You know, ask them exactly, what does that mean to you? What is love to you? Let's talk that through. Let's think that through together. What does that mean? Oh, you want to spend the rest of your life with me. What does that mean? Because let me tell you, I learned in my 20s, I'm so in love with you. You're my soulmate. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. You know what that means? That means the sex is really great. I never want it to end. That's all that means. I'm glad I can laugh about it now. I can laugh about it now. I sobered up, okay? But, you know, when I was under the illusion, damn, Neptune in the 7th house, God help me. God help me. Oh, sorry about your mom. So, yes, Charter saying I had a reading for my son too. Yeah, I remember you and your son doing the reading. I hope he's doing well. And she says, I understand why Venus in Aquarius is bad. I have this placement. I mean, I love y'all, but when I want y'all to like Venus and Pisces me back, y'all are not going to do it. Like, this is about the self-awareness. I really encourage everybody to get an ideal life partner reading. Like, I know it sounds like I'm trying to sell my services, but I do have a video on here. If you can't afford the reading, I show you on my playlist how to do it yourself, okay? Everybody needs to understand. They need to know and understand their Venus placement. That's your love nature. Know your Juno placement. That's your ideal life partner. And understand where your descendant is, okay? Which is opposite of your 1st house. And that tells you also the kind of person that you would be attracted to and want to partner with in this life, okay? These type of energies in your natal chart help you to become a lot more self-aware. And so for example, with me, when I realize like I don't see these people clearly, Neptune in the 7th house, I'm prone to being deceived. I start checking myself on that shit. And when I date people, I'm like, Stephanie, are you getting off in the la la land again? What's really going on here? Let's take a pulse of the situation. Is this what you want to see or what they is really you're seeing, you know. Um, and then, you know, like also with the Venus and Pisces stuff, you know, I had to, as I was doing a lot of personal healing work and learning about this placement, I started understanding why I felt like nobody ever loved me. Well, because shit, if, or they accuse me of your standards are too high. Like, my God, really? I'm just wanting you to love me. You can't do that? Like, no, they can't. They really can't. Like, not the way, like, they're not. I had to talk myself through this. Like, Stephanie, most people are not going to be Venus and Pisces. You have to understand and accept that people don't love like Venus and Pisces. Like, you got to understand. And so it's not really that I lower my expectations, but that I understand coming to the table that people don't love like I, some people flat think we're delusional, and I understand that. But my daughter, she's Pisces, but her Venus is in Aries. Oh yeah. And she's like, I can't stand Venus and Pisces. I can't, because they're just delusional. They're crazy. Like, why do they stick around and keep loving that person? Like, and so I had to get perspective of how it appears to other people. It's, I mean, it's a God love. It's a crazy love. I'm sorry if y'all think I'm like ego complex, you know, like it's really, it's a gift curse, Venus and Pisces. But if you understand, you know, the strengths and weaknesses of these placements, I think you manage them better in life. You don't become a victim of them so much. And I'm sorry to say, but before I understood this about myself, I have been a victim of my Venus and Pisces, which frankly is exalted, right? Venus is exalted in Pisces. And I've actually seen some astrologers like KRS, you know, here on YouTube say, my God, if you find a woman that's got a Venus in Pisces, you are a very blessed man. That is like the thing to have. And I'm like, oh, really? You know, because it feels like shit to me. Doesn't feel exalted at all, you know, but we got to learn the pros and cons and the strengths and weaknesses of all this stuff. So, yeah, let's see. Yeah, Steve is talking about Leo Sun, Aries Moon, Pisces Rising is his. Many people think Aqua are crazy nuts. Yes, Amps. And I know Charter is is also an Aquarian. So, yeah. Fellow aliens unite, right? Here's a funny thing, like they call us the aliens of the zodiac, but look at tarot, look at major arcana. We're represented by a human. Almost like all the other signs are represented by an animal. Think about it. This is deep stuff, I know. Like, so who's really human here? According to tarot, Aquarians are the real humans. Maybe we seem like aliens because, you know, to an animal we are. I'm sorry. I'm going to get a lot of people leave the chat. Like, she's offending it. Hey, I'm just saying, let's be open, people. Flow with it, you know. We're just talking. Just calm down. Take it easy. Don't get offended. Let me go back. I've missed some comments here. Let me go back. Steve is saying, oh, I really missed some comments. Let's see. Ams is saying, my hubby of 25 wonderful years was a Pisces, Stephanie. I've known a lot of Pisces in my life. And it makes sense with all my Pisces placements. Because they can connect on that spiritual level. Unfortunately, you know, I'm not going to say all earth signs are like this or fire, but, you know, when you're around earth signs or fire signs, even some air signs, they just get this deer in the headlights when you start getting spiritual with them. So, I've rarely met some Pisces that are like that, but for the most part, the Pisces and the Aquarians, they can go spiritual. And they don't look at you like you're a damn weirdo, you know. Am says aquas carry the water of life. Yes, absolutely. And when in reality, we're the most misunderstood sign of the zodiac. Maybe because we're the humans. I don't know. We're actually the humans. Who knows? Just a random thought. It doesn't have to be, people. It doesn't have to be. And so, Steve is saying, kind of scared, but there's no escaping it. Spirit tells me that it will be a turning point in life, none other than before. Oh, you're probably talking about this full moon coming up in Aries. I'm a little nervous about just all the energy that's about to come up with these, us getting out of retrograde and coming into eclipse season. And just you look at the news right now, and it's just like, shit's about to get real. I know it is. I know it is. We're going to have to buckle up, people. If not on a personal level, on a transpersonal level with politics and everything. Charter is saying the only way to escape pain from broken heart is to break it yourself by delving into something creative like becoming a ballerina at 63. Wow. I find myself very alienating in my love language, for better or worse. And Steve says, my ideal life partner would be another Leo or Aries person, Juno 2 degrees from my natal sun. Yeah. Let's see what else I missed. Charter, you like to talk about Juno Kazemi. Why don't you tell us? I'm not very well versed on it. Let me know what you know about it. Share it with us, and I'll let everybody know. I think it's interesting. Charter says sun empowers or burns. I feel like recently right now, just really taking a look at where the sun is hitting your natal chart, where the sun is transiting is really telling you where spirit is putting that focus on and making you like really like take a look at this, like shining a spotlight to say, okay, go look over here, deal with this, consider this, you know. It's kind of a guiding light, you know. That's the way I'm feeling the sun transits recently, you know, for myself, as someone who follows astrology but applies it to my own life. Amps is saying on my birth chart, I have a Aries in my north node and Leo in my south node. That's very interesting, because wouldn't it be Libra in your south node? Because Aries is opposite of, Libra is opposite of Aries. Maybe check that, Amps. And Steve said, I got no placements in Aquarius, but the mirroring between Leo versus Aquarius people, just unbelievable. Yeah, it is. It really is. I learned from Leos. And I think we learn from each other. I mean, we all can, and I think that some signs are better, you know, at teaching or imparting certain things. Like I think as an Aquarian, Leo is coming more from that heart space and the loyalty and the courage and all. It's just really, I don't know why Braveheart is just coming to mind. More of a heart-based passion, you know, whereas the air signs, I've been faulted at times for letting my logic rule my heart, and that that was a very bad lesson. I mean, I learned it, but it's like, yeah, don't do that again. And Leo teaches that. Leo teaches how to let the heart rule, not the logic. Sometimes things look right on paper, but you do a heart check or a gut check and stuff ain't adding up. And, you know, again, a younger, less aware me was like, no, that looks to be the right thing. Everything's checking. I'm gonna do that because logically that seems like right, even though my heart's not in it, my gut's telling me don't go there. But I did it because it appeared to be factually the right thing to do. And later on, I figured out, oh, that's why my heart wasn't in it. That's why my gut was telling me don't get it. I should have listened, right? I think Leo's really good at imparting that to Aquarius. Generally speaking, right? Generally speaking. Charter saying Venus Kazemi is a powerful woman like Oprah. Okay. And yes, you sound like a king of swords. Who does? Who sounds like a king of swords? You talking to Steve? Ah, okay. So, Charter is saying I have Sun in Aquarius, Saturn in Leo, everything perfectly upside down. Phew. Yeah. But again, with the Saturn in Leo, still there's something to learn there, right? Because Saturn is lessons, it's karma, and you learn that through limitations and restrictions. So, and wow, that's amazing that your father was a Leo and you've got a Saturn in Leo. That's some deep stuff right there. Woo. I mean, I wouldn't encourage getting married to a Leo. I'm just going to say that with that kind of stuff going on. Don't do it. Don't do it. But, you know, in your personal healing time, reflect on the karmic lessons there that you've had with Leos. And even right now, when I meet Cancers, because I've got a Saturn in Cancer, I don't want to say I'm like this about Cancers, but I am aware. Because I'm like, okay, they just told you they're a Cancer. Your Saturn's in Cancer. Wait for it. Because there's going to be probably some lesson there, or there's something that they're going to impart. And so, very interesting. Charter saying Saturn goes direct today. Yeah, hey. I am so happy about all the planets going direct, right? I mean, how have y'all been doing with that energy? How have you been doing with reflecting on what's been holding you back and how to break past those bondages? Because that's what Saturn retrograde has been about for the past how many months? So, yeah, actually it's showing, I know you're out in the UK, so it's probably going direct for you out there, Charter, but here in the US, it's tomorrow, Saturn retrograde ends in the US. So, yeah, I'm very excited about that. And then next week on the 18th, right couple days before that full moon, we're having Jupiter getting out of retrograde and Mercury getting out of retrograde. So hopefully this is a time, the second half of this month, where things start getting some forward movement. Steve is saying Saturn is also the keeper of time and the karma of this life. Yeah. Amps, I wouldn't touch a Leo with a large pole or a barge pole. A barge pole. Okay, that's funny. Why not, Amps? Why not? Do tell. My only concern about Leos is I get nervous about fire signs that have like a lot of fire and water. I mean, to some degree, I like it, but another part of me is kind of scared of it because, like, fire signs that are deficient in water, they're not very emotionally and spiritually in tune. And with all my water placements, I'm not a fan of that. Like, if I can't really connect with you emotionally and spiritually, the passion only goes so far, right? Or it can only take us so far. You know what I'm saying? The excitement. But you get some of these fire signs that have prominent, let's say, Cancer placements, because it's nearest to Leo. And that gets very crazy. Like that gets explosive. That can get people letting off a bunch of steam. You know what I'm saying? Lots of drama, emotional drama. Let's just put it like that. So I get worried about that when people say they have a lot of water and fire in their charts. Charter says, I had been flooded 3 times in the past 2 years. My house situation was perfectly sabotaged by Uranus in the 4th. Ooh, what a mess. Oh, we have someone new here. Holly Atkinson, welcome in. Says, I'm a Leo sun, always try to be loyal. My other half is Gemini. We've taught each other many lessons. Once you hurt a Leo, they never feel the same about you. Yeah, I mean, I did a reading. This is interesting, Holly. I did a reading recently, so maybe a couple months ago, for a Leo female and a Gemini male. And my advice, that it was a face-to-face couple reading, and I told him, I said, you want to keep this woman? She's a Leo. You better be loyal. Leo demands center stage. Loyalty. That's how you keep her. That's how you keep this Leo woman. You better, you need to give her the attention. You need to give her center stage. You need to give her loyalty. And she sat there and she smiled and nodded her head like, absolutely, absolutely. Char's saying, yes, I went out with a guy with Leo BLM. What? You're not talking about that Black Lives Matters, are you? Clarify that, Charter. Steve Silda saying Leos also have a lot of pride and Aries are just stubborn as hell. Yeah, I mean, I like Leos, I get along with Leos until I do my Aquarian thing usually. This is where I've fallen out with a lot of Leos, is I do my Aquarian thing and I go water other people and they're like, wait a minute. And I'm not saying you do that, Steve. You haven't, but so not all of them are like that, right? But the Leos I've fallen out with, it was because we really clicked. And then I did my Aquarian disconnect and let me go click with other people. And when I went to go click with other people, they got jealous. So, but I mean, heck, if you're partnered with somebody, I can kind of understand that person needs your undivided attention. If you're going to marry a Leo, just be ready for it. But that's kind of what partnership is anyway. You're going to prioritize that person, and Leo absolutely demands it. Aries, I'm gonna confess, I don't want to say I have a love-hate relationship with Aries. I don't want to say hate, but they hit a sore spot with me because my Juno is an Aries, so my ideal life partner is an Aries. Like, I love, love, love Aries. But guess what? My Chiron is also in Aries. So you know what that means? Like there's always some woundedness surrounding it. And it's like, think about this. Your ideal life partner is somebody who just so happens to wound you in some way. And so this is kind of another thing when I meet people who are Aries. Knowing my natal chart, I try to reel myself in and just kind of try to stay balanced. I'm like, okay, so they're Aries, you're going to hit it off great, but wait for it because they're going to stick it to you somehow and it's going to hurt. And, you know, I mean, so I try not to like, because with Aries, my God, I could just be so in the moment and happy with Aries, but then they kind of do the thing that I do to Leo where they just hop off to the next conquest. And I'm like, but wait, we had something great going here. What about us? And they're like, yeah, that's in the past. I'm on to something new. And I'm like, what? This is just, yeah. Aquarian problems, maybe. I don't know. Aries problems for some of us. Let me know if any of y'all resonate with that. I really love Aries. I just wish they didn't hurt me so much. And I've had a lot of hurt from Aries in my life, a lot of hurt from them. And it's like God, you know, and then when I look at the chart, I'm like, man, is there any way around this? You know, and I actually start thinking, you know, well, maybe your ideal partner is not really the ideal. Like maybe you need to like, right, look for something else. Because there's just going to be pain with that. Just a thought. Just a thought. Amps is saying that her father was a Leo narc. I'm sorry to hear that, Amps. I'm sure that was like, what was he? He was an overt narc, I'm guessing, with the Leo placement. He was like, I'm here and it is about me and you will bow down. Was it like that? Just a question, you know, just curious. Leo, when you say Leo narc, that's got to be rough. That's got to be really rough. And Holly is agreeing with me. Oh, yes. Demand nothing less than center stage. Steve, also a Leo, is agreeing. Exactly. Loyalty. He says, I think my Pisces has taken much of my otherwise hot temper down. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, Steve and I have talked, you know, a lot off and on through the last couple years. And I would say he's not your typical Leo. He's more Pisces than Leo. Absolutely. So again, it's just like, you got to look at the chart as a whole. Because people are not just their sun sign, right? You know, they're the rising, their moon, their Mercury, you know, just, you got to look at it as a whole. And Holly is saying Leos like to be the centerpiece. My other half has always gotten jealous over it. You'd think he'd be used to it after almost 30 years, not allowed to talk about other males. Big mistake. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, men flat just don't like it when you talk about other men. I've learned that the hard way. Right? Because my Mercury in Aquarius and being an Aquarian, I mean, we're kind of social butterflies and we just talk to everybody. And then that Mercury in Aquarius, talk. And then before you know it, you know, it's foot and mouth syndrome where you're just like, wait, whoa, why did I say? Why are you upset with me? Why did you shut down? Oh, because I talked about some other man, or I was just making mention of something that was like, okay, note to self, don't talk to a man about other men. Don't do it. They hate it. They hate it. And I'm really like, I'm an open book. Like, I mean, if I'm in a relationship, I want to know, like, I want you to tell me about your past relationships. I want to know. Like, you don't want to know? No, they don't want to know. They don't want to know. Steve is saying Aries narc is even worse. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I would imagine Aries narc is pretty flaming, I'm pretty sure. So Aries is, I'm sorry, Amps is saying yes from dawn till dusk, and a domestic violence perp as well. I got punished from the day I was born because I was born a girl. That is horrible, Amps. My God, I'm so sorry for you. I am really sorry you went through that. Steve said, don't ask how I know. Yeah, about the Aries narc is even worse. Charter is saying Aquanarch is probably the scariest boogeyman. Maybe. Charter, because I would imagine Aquarius narc would be, hey, this is an interesting video idea. We could do this. Talking about all the signs in their narcissistic expressions. That's maybe something that has not, I don't know, has it been done on YouTube already? But yeah, narcissistic Aquarius, I would imagine would be very sociopathic, like would appear very maybe charming socially, but doesn't give a rip about, and totally emotionally detached. I hate to say that about any Aquarian, but that's a shadow side. And I hate that when other readers say that we're detached. I'm not detached, and I can't be with all my Pisces placements. But yes, I suppose they could be if you're a narc Aquarian. Cold-hearted. Yeah, she's a digital, technological, knows how to get under your skin undetected. Oh, yeah. And probably a know-it-all, right? We get accused of that. That's the shadow energy of Aquarius, being know-it-alls. Having a God complex. But I don't know. It's like, I wrestle with that. Sometimes I'm like, am I doing that? Yeah, I guess maybe I'm doing that. But then I'm like, but damn it, I studied this. I know what I'm talking about. Hey, God. My Mercury in Aquarius really studies and thinks before it speaks. And then when I speak confidently because I like know my stuff. And then people are like, oh, you're arrogant. But I'm like, yeah, but did you study as much as I did? Oh, Aquarius problems. Charter is saying Aquarius energy is actually the devil. I don't know, Aquarius. That's like the devil card in tarot represents Capricorn, not Aquarius. Although we are co-ruled by Saturn, which is the devil card. So I don't know. Steve is saying our forefathers or foremothers don't determine always who we become in life. A lot is in our own hands. Yeah. I think there's a lot of programming there, but we have the free will choice what we do with it. It is hard to undo, though, but we can do it. Holly is saying Leo women always get a lot of haters and frenemies. I try to be nice to all, but get stabbed in the back. I'm Leo, Sun, Taurus, Rising, Pisces, Moon, Virgo, Venus. Oh, well, see, there it is, Holly, So I relate because, right, my sun is opposite of yours, right? You're Leo sun, I'm Aquarius sun. We both have a Taurus rising. We both have Pisces moon. And your Virgo and Venus, well, that's opposite of mine in Pisces. So very nice energy, very, very relatable energy. And I've dealt with a lot of jealousy. I kind of relate to what you're saying. I've had some astrologers look at my chart and like right off the bat, they'll be like, Oh, yeah. So you deal with a lot of jealousy from women in the workplace, and they're like, yeah, you don't really know what it is. You haven't known what it is, but why these women keep giving you trouble. They're not all like that, by the way. I mean, I've had some, like, I worked for a Virgo, and she and I got along fantastic. You know, she's the absolute best boss. Went on my LinkedIn and wrote up, you know, recommendations. Um, but yeah, others has been, and I get along with the females that I work with, but it's usually the females above me. Some kind of jealousy issue going on, some weird shit. You know, these things are in your natal chart. People need to learn. Like, I've been kind of beating this drum this whole video. Like, you gotta become self-aware. Know your chart. And yeah, it looks like Amps is signing off, and I'll be signing off shortly as well because I've been on here for quite a while. But it was good to see you, Amps. And Steve is saying, I hate to say this, but I will have to leave you all. Yeah, he's going as well. It's late and I'm getting very sleepy, but let me say I had so much fun here with you all. I had fun with you too. I'm going to sign off shortly as well. Big hugs to all of you. Charter is saying, Holly. Okay, you're addressing Holly. Oh, you're not signing off, Amps. You're saying bye to Steve. Okay, cool. So yeah, I mean, well, before I sign off, I mean, is there anything else y'all want to talk about? Anything that we didn't talk about that we could talk about? I mean, because I've kind of asked your advice, you know, on, and I think that really, as far as me putting up more content on YouTube or putting it over on TikTok, is kind of, at this point, it's anybody's guess as to what's going to work. I mean, are any of you on TikTok? And if you're not, would you even go to TikTok to see me if I put content over there? Um, just curious, because honestly, I guess I'm trying to get more viewers. I would, if I put anything on TikTok, I'm gonna probably try to bring them over here to this YouTube channel to look at the content there and maybe drive more sales for my private readings. But I don't really know if any of my YouTubers are gonna go to, if they're even on TikTok, or if they would go over there to see my stuff. So just a thought, you know. Let me know in the comments below. But yeah, y'all are kind of quiet, so I'm thinking, no, you're probably not on TikTok and not gonna go. And I kind of guessed that. For me, if I were to do TikTok, it would just be, yeah, Holly's saying I'm not on there. So it would just be me trying to tap into a different audience. But like I said, I think if there's a very short window of opportunity that is very soon closing. I think that I could probably get some reach some new people over there, but I don't know for how much longer, because they're turning into another YouTube and Twitter and all these places with their algorithms. But I do feel, honestly, within my spirit and just the energy at large, I feel like there is a shift coming, right? And for all of us collectively, with the nodes shifting in January, I believe it's January 18th, the North Node is going to go into Taurus, which, by the way, Holly, you think you said you're a Taurus rising, and so am I. Big game changer for the Tauruses, right? To have the nodes, the North Node in Taurus. So very interesting year, but I guess anyway, my point in bringing that up mainly was to say that for me, I'm finally going to get out of that nodal return, and I'm going to not feel like everything is like the whole world at large is working against me doing my mission in life, which is reaching global audiences, right? The last year and a half, basically, that the nodes have been reversed for me, my North Node has just been upside down. Like the world's taken it in a totally different direction than where I'm supposed to be going in my natal chart, right? So, okay, Way 35 is here. Good to hear from you. And says, I'm also a Taurus. So when the nodes shift next year, all of us that are Taurus and Taurus rising, you know, that's quite a notable thing about, you know, the North Node going into Taurus, okay, and leaving Gemini. But for me, that's going to make it not so difficult to do my online work. It's been very difficult to get any reach, any traction in my online work, which is my mission in life. With my mission in life basically being in a South Node placement. So I feel already that that stuff is starting to loosen up. And as we get closer to January 18th and the nodes finally shift for us collectively, I feel like I'm getting free to get back to my online work. And what that's going to look like, though, right now, I don't entirely know. So I'm trying to kind of feel it out. I'm trying to feel it out in terms of getting a whole like social media strategy. Like, what am I going to put out there for you? If y'all think of something, particularly for people who are watching this after it goes live, right? Put in the comments down below. Let me know what you think you would like to be seen from me more. And it could be, you know, between now and the end of this year. It could be the next year to come. Like, and I'm one of these people with all my Aquarian placements, which is co-ruled by Uranus, right? We can throw some random shit out there. Like, I can pivot, all right? I can test the waters and see, is this gonna take, you know? Like, I will try your ideas. Just put them down there, you know? Way is asking, where do you see society and civilization in general heading? Well, obviously, it's going to go one of two ways, you know. Either we're going to break the shackles off of us, or we're going to, you know, become, I don't know, have the Stockholm syndrome where we fall in love with our captors. Some weird shit. But as an Aquarian, and I said this, you can go back and watch the video I put out when I did the, when Saturn went into Aquarius, okay? My belief as an Aquarian, 3 Aquarius placements, Sun in Aquarius, Mercury in Aquarius, midheaven in Aquarius. And I was raised by 2 Capricorn parents. And I'm going to tell you straight up, as an Aquarian, this is how it goes down. You ain't shackling Aquarius. You are not. You will not do it. We will follow the rules so long as the rules serve us. But the thing about Aquarius is we are not Capricorn. We do not follow rules just for the sake of following them because, you know, we don't want to ruffle feathers, keeping up appearances, you know, perception management, status quo, blah, blah, blah. No. Follow chain of command, following orders, just doing my job. I mean, this is a Capricorn nonsense. I'm sorry, no offense. Aquarius doesn't play that. Aquarius knows when to follow the rules and knows when to break them. So you have to keep in mind, like, right, Capricorn, which we had Saturn in Capricorn previous to Aquarius, was like following all the rules, trusting the authority, doing what you're told, stand in line, you know, this kind of be nice, you know, all this other stuff, all right? But Aquarius is, you know, we could do that. And on this, like, a lot of people think they meet me and I know how to follow protocol. I can totally do it. But make no mistaking, I am not only co-ruled by Saturn as an Aquarian, I'm co-ruled by Uranus, which is the revolutionary, the individualist, the change maker. And you push us too far, that Saturnian shit starts getting too whack and ain't serving me, we will throw the shackles off. And if you look at the news, you already see it's happening. You see humanity is already pushing back and saying, you know what? You know what? We follow the rules, right? When Saturn went into Aquarius, what was it like? The end of, was it the end of, God, I'm losing my shit. It's been like, y'all gotta remind me. I think it was the end of 2020. It's the end of 20. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. People basically, the beginning of that transit, they did what they were told. Lockdown, wear a mask. They did what they were told. But the longer this transit went on, people started getting more Uranian. Like, oh no, you just went too far with that, okay? We were okay when you were talking about 2 weeks to flatten the curve, but now you're talking about 3 jabs and I can't get a job. Yeah, you went and done lost your mind, okay? I'll show you what losing mind is. You know, I mean, this is where humanity is evolving. And every day I get on social media and I see the protests going on. I see the people that are walking off of jobs in response to the mandates. I just see it pushing back. My concern is that as we get closer into Saturn and Pisces, which is up next, I think in 2023, March of 2023, I think. As we get closer into that, my concern is that it's going to get real sober, and I think there will be isolation, but for other reasons than what we saw in 2020. There will be solitude. There will be a lot of contemplation of how we sabotaged ourselves, the hidden enemies we dealt with that brought us to this point. I think that I'm concerned that when Saturn moves into Pisces, which is the direction we're headed towards, people are going to maybe have a crisis of faith. It's going to get very sober. And at that point, it's going to be very hard to believe in much of anything because people are just going to be like, yeah. So, Holly says, not sure if you have any interest, but I find coffee cup and gemstone readings very interesting. Yeah, I don't know how the audience is with that. I'm not learned in that, by the way, Holly, but I don't know how much training it takes to do that, but they are interesting, actually. Amps is saying, not on your life, Stephanie. I'm not a sheeple, never was, never will be. Absolutely, same here. Amps is saying, I'm a Venus in Cappy, and I threw out the rule book when it came to love. Good for you. You are an evolved Venus in Cappy. Very evolved. And when it came to love, my hubby and I were trailblazers. Awesome. We invented age gap relationships. I don't know what that is, but you'll have to tell me. Wazy 35. I hope I'm saying that right. is saying, I've heard that Saturn is a usurper. Is this energy usurping? Usurping. This is an interesting word, which, if my memory serves me well, means overcoming, right? Usurping power, overcoming someone's power, right? So I think what you're trying to ask is, will Saturn overcome Aquarius? I think anything is possible, but in my life experience, right, again, as an Aquarian with all my Aquarius placements, having parents who definitely generationally had power over me, as Capricorns, I think that for a time and a season, yes, right, but eventually, the clock gets to ticking, right? Right. When I was under 18, my parents had authority over me, right? And I had to do what I was told, right or wrong. I had to, I was under their roof. But eventually I turned 18. And this is my theory: as the clock ticks, and we get deeper and deeper into this Aquarian energy that becomes more aware, more evolved, more rebellious, more individualistic, time will be up. And I'm gonna say, like, I have some grim concerns, because of I'm going to have to, like, be careful with my words here, okay? I'm gonna have to talk slowly and choose my words carefully, because I'm gonna say some super controversial Aquarian out there stuff that probably a lot of people can't handle. My concern is that as we get deeper into this Saturn and Aquarius energy, the pushback is going to get a lot more volatile. And unfortunately, a lot of damage has already been done. There is a lot of fallout already that people are not aware of, because there's still a lot of illusion going on, and things that have yet to be seen, such as the full consequences of using an experimental on men, women, and children. There are stats coming in already. Look it up. It's on Vermont. I've got it on my Warrior Woman 212 page at Twitter. I'm on Getter as well. Vermont is now starting to publish stats. It's staggering, the deaths related to and this is just the beginning. And my concern is that this is planned. GENOCIDE. For the purpose of reducing our numbers down to a more manageable amount. The people who didn't do their homework, I don't want to call them unintelligent, but they were definitely not fully informed. Or if they were maybe too insecure, peer pressured, socially pressured, financially pressured into caving, weak-willed, okay, so uninformed, some might argue unintelligent, insecure, weak-willed. I'm sorry if you feel like I am attacking you, okay? Those are going to be the first to go. Those will be the first casualties. And those of us who did our homework, who didn't cave to the peer pressure and the financial, economic reprisals, the economic warfare, those of us who stood and didn't cave and had a strong will, and we did what we knew was the right thing to do in our minds and our hearts and our guts, and we didn't let anybody move us, we will be the remnant. And I'm sorry to say, but there will be less of us. There is a culling that is going on right now. And nobody's allowed to talk about this, right? I'm even having to be very careful the way I say it on here. And I'm pretty sure that I'm going to get some unsubscribes off this video, but I don't care, mark my words. That was GENOCIDE. That LABNCHINA, it's called BIOWARFARE, okay? And I'm sorry, but people are so naive. They think that if a war were to be waged, that our enemies would just come right out and be like, all right, let's go fight now. And just be dropping bombs, old school. No. The weapons of warfare in this modern age are psychological and biological. And the first ones to go, the first casualties of the warfare, are the uninformed, the peer pressured, the weak-willed, the insecure. Charter is saying no consent to BS. That's where I'm at. Rebel Aquarian here. I will not comply. I will not consent. I won't. And I haven't. And it's just that simple. Because the only reason they get away with this is because people let them. People let them convince society that a mandate is a law. It is not. The only reason why they are able to treat this like a law without passing it as a law is because you let them. You let them. You're uninformed. You don't know the difference between a mandate and a law, that they have no legal jurisdiction to tell you to do that. Or you know, but you don't want to cause a confrontation. You don't want to be seen as extra or that person or whatever. So don't make any waves. It's just a mask. It's just a shot. It's just a you losing your freedom. Yeah, add it up. Add it up. See, I'm on a roll here. Sorry, people. Looking back at the messages. Charter says, according to mythology published on Wikipedia, Saturn castrated Uranus because he constantly impregnated Gaia, which made her life quality deteriorate. Very interesting. Very interesting. I mean, It's mythology, and perhaps there's some element of truth to it. I'm just going to say, in my own life as an Aquarian dealing with Capricorns, they might be able to hold me down for a time and a season and a reason. But eventually, Aquarius will cut loose off that shit. Aquarius will cut loose off that shit. Like, I'm gonna be straight up for I am renting from a Capricorn right now, and I want out. I want out. And I'm like itching so bad, like I'm about to do something ruthless to get out. Like, I'm like, God help me. God help me. The only reason I don't is because, you know, I'm a parent and I understand it's going to destabilize my daughter. Right. So again, this is, I'll keep following the line so long as it serves me. But the moment it doesn't, trust me, if I want to get out of here, Aquarius going to get out of here. Aquarius ain't having it. If Aquarius is having it, it's because Aquarius decided to have it. And I think that's my concern. Humanity, Aquarius, is it going to decide to have this? Are you going to decide to have this? But the more I look at the protests, I feel like there is a quickening. And I look at the astrology, I do think it's going to get uglier. I don't think that Saturn is going to, the government, right, is going to release power easily, right? Some of these areas that are getting pushed back, like Australia, you saw the police firing rubber bullets onto the crowds. But then a week later, a 17-year police veteran blows the whistle and resigns. So this is not over. We're in a real struggle here. We are in a real struggle. I just do not think they're going to relinquish power easily. And yes, it could get very right. I'm even seeing in some other areas them throwing tear gas on people. But every time they try to Saturn us back into place, they show their hand. They show how diabolical they are. Yeah, that's the word. Diabolical. Demonic. Let me go back here. Amps is saying that she's glad she did her research. Charter says Churchill said, those who choose war will get war, but those who choose shame will get both war and shame. Yeah, it reminds me, there's a saying, and I'm going to probably butcher it, and I can't remember his name, but basically, those who trade freedom for safety will get neither. And that's what we have here. That you sum 2020 and 2021 up with that phrase, you know, or both of those phrases, those quotes. We're having to learn this all over again. Amps agrees that this is a mass culling all over the world in progress. And people are very naive, and they're like, but why would they do that? I'll tell you why, because they already own everything. They already own everything. They don't need you, okay? You're extra cattle, all right? Getting too many slaves on the plantation, eating up their profits, okay? And they want it easier to manage. They want a Hunger Games scenario. And that's what I'm concerned about with Saturn and Pisces. That we are going to resist them very well, but our numbers are going to be very low, or remarkably lower by, I hope it's not that bleak. I really hope it's not. This is my concern, that it could get that bad when Saturn moves into Pisces. Holly is saying most enemies hide it well. Agreed. And Charter saying consent seems to be their key. Absolutely. Amps is saying don't apologize. I mean, I feel like I have to apologize because people are so, they can't, people are so sensitive, you know, and they take stuff like, and the Aquarian in me will just start throwing out the truth with my sword, you know, and like, some of these sensitive souls think you're cursing them out. I'm like, man, I am just telling you the truth, and the truth is offensive. And the truth does not care about your feelings. The truth just is. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to empower you and equip you with the truth. I'm not trying to hurt you. It's like I have to remind certain people of that. It's not everybody, right? Not all of you, but Charter says 40% of social media is fake accounts run by bots who say they are lining up for injections, making it look like some of us are interested in it. I know. I totally, hey, I've said this on Twitter, like most of those trends, those hashtags that are, I'd say probably 90% of the hashtags that are trend on Twitter are fake. And there's bots on there, and people have to like really, if you understand the level of fakery that is going on, it is freaking unreal. And I don't think that people understand. I mean, do you understand like how long, how deep this is? I mean, look, back in 2016, Hillary Clinton was caught with Rent-A-Crowd. Do you understand, you know, Rent-A-Crowd? Like these politicians make it look like they've got all these followers. They're renting people to show up. They're paying people to show up. So they've got this photo opportunity looking like, oh, everybody wants to vote for this person. That was 2016. My God, it's even worse. I could go and make a whole video about, they got, you know, paid crisis actors. Some of these shootings are fake and staged to get you to give up your guns, to give up your Second Amendment rights. I mean, there is so much psychological warfare going on and propaganda, fake accounts, bots. My God, do you understand the level of fakery? This is what I love about the Let's Go Brandon, F. Joe Biden. You see that going around? Oh, how do you cover that up? Like that lady tried to, with NBC News, try to make, on fake news, make people believe that they're not hearing what they're hearing. But you can't cover up stadiums upon stadiums full of people chanting F. Joe Biden. Like, that don't lie right there. Maybe hashtags do on Twitter. But how do you cover that up? And that woman tried to cover that up, and it totally backfired. It gained traction. It just like blew up online, you know, that whole storyline. So that's where we're seeing the truth. And by the way, love Trump or hate him, he had like 70,000 people show up to his event. Have you ever seen Biden have 70,000 people show up to an event? Call it what you want, explain it however you will, but the answer is no. This is not lying, okay? They could hire maybe 70,000 people, but they didn't, or they can't, or whatever. I don't know. You probably can't pay people to show up to a Biden event. That's how many people hate him. And they're trying to convince us that he has more votes than any other president in history. Get out of here. Get out of here. It's unreal, unreal. The truth is coming out. That's another thing about Saturn in Aquarius. The more you put the squeeze on us, the more the truth comes out. Amps is saying it's going to get worse. It's happening in the UK as well as Australia. Charter saying, when I watched FEMA coffin videos about 10 years ago, I thought that was too far-fetched. No, I don't. Yeah, I mean, that's funny you bring that up because I was wondering, you know, with this whole culling event that is going on, It reminded me of that because that was kind of weird. I mean, I live in Texas and they had some FEMA camps out here where they had people videoing the these they're mass graves. They're like coffin liners. That's what they were. There were a bunch of coffin liners, like hundreds and thousands. You're like, what the hell do they have all these coffin liners for? And then the story just disappeared and went away, and you're like, I don't know, what was that about? And then this, and you're like, oh wow, okay, so we've got this culling event going on, and maybe they're going to use those coffin liners now. The coffin liners, by the way, are what I've heard from people in the funeral industry. If you were doing like mass graves, you could put 5 bodies in one of those coffin liners. I know it's grotesque, but FEMA was stockpiling them 10 years ago. It's a true story. I tried to look the stuff up. I think they've already scrubbed it from the internet. That's another thing with this fakery. Things getting scrubbed from the internet you can't find anymore. But I'm glad you brought that up, Charter, because I brought it up and people look at me like I'm crazy and they try to go search and you can't find it, and then I definitely look crazy. But Adam, thanks for joining, is saying, can narc abuse make you really ill permanently? Is PTSD a permanent illness? I think, it's up to each individual person and their healing process. You can stay, you can stay in a wounded state, or you can be in healing. That's really up to each person. Adam. So, yeah, Charter is saying Pluto return on the 20th of February, 2022 is right on US. Oh gosh, I've been hearing about that. Sweet Jesus. Buckle up. She says, and at the time they conjunct Venus is going to be on them too. They conjunct in the US second house. It's about finance and money regeneration. Oh yeah. Oh God, yeah. I'm telling you, people, I've been saying it since last year. Stockpile, crypto. My God, crypto's probably going to go to 100,000 by the end of this year. I was saying silver, some say gold, that those markets are manipulated. I'm now regretting that, just, all honesty. I don't know. There's some experts saying that the precious metals market will never get out of manipulation. It will forever be manipulated, which just like grieves me. But because I invested in silver and it's actually lost money, and I don't know if I'll ever be able to recover from it, make money off of it. It's sad, but y'all need to invest now. You need to stockpile. You need to be resourceful. If you can take out lines of credit or increase your lines of credit, pay your debt down, right? It's not that you utilize all that credit, but you make sure it's available in the event you do need it, and pay your debts down, because I definitely see shit getting real in the United States with the economy by February, and you will already see it. I mean, you're already seeing it. We're supposed to default on our debt this month. And you see the direction that crypto is going in. Granted, crypto is manipulated as well. The Fed is already involved in tinkering in that because they're trying to get everybody onto a digital currency. Folks, there's no way around it. Digital currency is the future. And that's why you get in now. The people who buy in early will profit from it. Those of you who get in late, you're not going to make any money off of it. And you're going to be probably forced in by choice unless you can figure out how to barter. But the dollar will collapse. It's practically worthless right now. It's a shocker it has not collapsed already. AMPS is saying sheeple are going to start dying at the start of each country's respective flu season. Oh yes, absolutely. And y'all be careful, as they're reporting all these deaths. be mindful that some of them are already playing with the numbers. They're going to tell you how many people died of, COVID. And you need to be asking them and yourself, how many of these COVID deaths are involving people who were already vaccinated? How many of them were vaccinated? How many of them weren't? And they don't want to report that. That's what you need to be paying attention to. Those numbers are really bad. Charter saying, I heard this from a UK astrologer, Pam Gregory. Yeah, I'll go watch her. I haven't watched her in a while. I've gotten away from a lot of the astrologers on YouTube because it's just too much wokeism. And I'm sorry, like, I got zero tolerance for it at this point. I mean, prior to 2020, I mean, I just kind of like, I kind of Aquarian out, like, I have my own opinion and you're free to have your own opinion. But 2020 onward, I'm like, listen, if you still drinking the woke Kool-Aid, ain't nobody got time for it. Ain't nobody got time for it. Shit's getting real. People dying. You need to wake up, okay? You need to wake up about that wokeism. And I just got zero tolerance with the tarot readers, the spiritual community. Right, I'm not going to sit there and give my attention to people who are woke in 2021. Like, you get off of YouTube, go find yourself. I'm like, sorry, it's bad. It's bad. I know I'm being like really cutting about it, but at this point, this is how, right? I had to get this way with somebody offline. I had an appointment with them. Everything's cool. I thought we had an agreement about what was going down. I show up, they tell me that I got to wait out in my car, that they're going to come to me in my car. And I'm like, whoa, what is this going on? And this was over Delta. And I'm like, hold up, wait a second. Y'all might have got away with this back in 2020, but it is 2021 and you are still falling for this shit. You need to shoot your TV. You really do. Like, just shut your business down and go find yourselves. Figure out what's going on, okay? Because if you are still getting hoodwinked by this in 2021, something's very wrong. Very, very wrong. No excuses. No excuses. I'm sorry, I got zero tolerance for it. Charter's right. She put, what is that? Oh, those cats are, I thought it was clowns for clown world. It's a clown world. I will agree with that. Holly is saying pretty bad when the dollar store has to raise prices. Absolutely. That's very telling, Holly. It's a sign. There's signs everywhere. If you're paying attention, signs, everywhere signs. Do this, don't do that. Can't you read the signs? Y'all remember that song? It's coming to me. Amp says the dying has already started over here and the government are burying the stats on how many were vaccinated. Oh yeah, y'all need to be asking. Because they're going to make it sound like it's a new variant. Oh, you need a new booster now. Or they're going to make it sound like it's the unvaccinated. No. Let's hear all the facts now. You want to talk about how many people died? What percentage were vaccinated? If you can't talk about that, I want to hear jack shit, because you're full of it. You're full of it. Sorry, I'm getting really like snappy now, because this stuff like fires me up, okay? It really does. Yeah, Amps is saying unvaccinated peeps are already getting the blame for here in the UK. Well, isn't that convenient? It's convenient, isn't it? Very convenient. Charter is saying, and only to think that those who died gave their consent to it or something they were deluded about. Absolutely. Well, they were preyed upon. I'm sorry, but I do not mean to, like, if you got the vax, I'm not trying to, but the weakest and the most vulnerable will be taken down first. And that is that, you weren't informed. You didn't get all the information, or you did and you caved to peer pressure, social pressure, financial pressure, and you, or you had a weakness of will. I mean, I saw somebody on Twitter say that this whole scamdemic was an IQ and character test. Did you pass the IQ and character test? And right, I'm not trying to throw stones at anybody, but you got to check yourself. And I will give the vaccinated some credit and say this was some serious psychological warfare. I will grant some mercy on that. Serious psychological warfare. But you got to understand, like, to not see this coming, people probably warned you. You were warned. And did you mock these people? Did you ridicule them? Did you alienate them? Did you call them conspiracy theorists, tinfoil hat wearers? Right, those of us who were reading about the coffin liners being stockpiled by FEMA 10 years ago, we saw this coming. We tried to warn people. And I had family members tell me, shut up, you can't talk about that. Now they're like, holy shit, this shit's real. Some people are just too much in their own bubble, just trying to make a living. They're trying to survive, you know? I will say that. A lot of people living hand to mouth, and they're not informed about, they didn't have time because of this rat race. But I'm just saying, there are many of us like myself who tried to warn people, and we got called names, we got ridiculed. Like, there's so much psychological warfare. It was unreal. Yet we kept trying to warn people. Yeah, Charter's saying naive and ignorant. Holly is saying signs, they want to take your shirt and pants. We will all have long hair like hippies. Absolutely. Can't get a haircut unless you're Pelosi, right? The UK government are trying to force vaccines, AMP says, on the UK citizens when it's supposed to be voluntary. Yep. She says, I'm so glad I did my research. I'm glad you did too. Do you follow Paul Joseph Watson out of the UK? I love him. He's awesome. AMP says peeps are leaving. Peeps in the UK are leaving their jobs rather than vaccinated. Well, that's how we take our power back. They can't run this without us. They absolutely can. I know they're going to automate things. Somebody said that earlier, and that's true. They're trying to automate so that they, you know, they don't need us. But Charter saying, my mother is doubly injected, yet she traveled to the UK as if she was not. UK does not recognize Ukraine injections, and she had to quarantine 10 days and buy a 150-pound test to be able to fly. Ridiculous. This is a racket. This is extortion. What's going on? Big pharma is making a crap ton of money right now. Charter says, isn't this all about money and control? Absolutely. But ultimately control, because I think of these people, pretty much they own 90% of the world's wealth. And when you own everything already, what's left for you is control. And why do you need to control people? Because you don't want people to figure out like that you've got the lion's share. You don't want an uprising. You don't want people to take what you have. So you got to get control. You got to lower their numbers. It is a calling. Charter said, how bad is that? How bad all the injected people now feel because they are the same as uninjected? Absolutely. I heard that out of Israel, people got, I think, double or triple jabbed or something like that. And then they were told that they are not considered fully vaccinated because they now need to get another booster to be. So it's like they're not, you're not counted vaccinated unless you're fully vaccinated according to their standards, which are always changing. They keep adding a new booster. Cha-ching, cha-ching. And by the way, what I've heard, take it with a grain of salt, do your own research, but what I've heard is that every booster is like adding layer upon layer to the basically taking down systems. Okay, it's like they call it gain of function, right? It is to take over and hijack the organ systems to shut them down, right? And you see that, you see them, the big thing going around right now is with the heart stuff, right? People's hearts are not functioning normally anymore. So like the more of these you take, it's almost like you're getting closer and closer to that FEMA coffin liner. God, I have said so much as usual. I don't know how I'm still on this platform, really. Amazing. Probably because I don't have hardly any reach, so they're not threatened by it. Amp says, Stephanie, it's a money making scam that's killing people. Charter put the alien emoji. Fellow Aquarian alien, yeah. The real humanoids of the zodiac. Okay. Amp says in the UK, they all have to have boosters now. Charter says heartless planet. We're back to conversation about narcs now. Yeah. Amp says lateral flow test stocks are running out as they go through millions a day in the UK here. It's a mess. I mean, we could talk about this. We could continue talking about this. And all I gotta say is, I think there's just going to be an escalation and people need to stand firm. And one thing that I think is really important right now that I'm trying to work on, apart from, right, all the financial positioning that I mentioned earlier with crypto and stockpiling, is making sure that you have good social currency. In other words, if things were to fall apart on you, do you have friends and family that you can call upon? Do you have a social network? Do you have people you can barter with? Right? If you become an Anne Frank, do you have a neighbor's basement or attic that you can live in? Right? Just throwing it out there. Social currency, we should all be working on this. And that's been a challenge because many of us have been programmed to have these virtual relationships, which have their value, right? I mean, I'm tonight connecting with two ladies out in the UK. Lovely. I just got on Getter and I'm connecting with people all over the world. My gosh, the Asian community on Getter is amazing. Like, to see people that are like pro-liberty in the Asian community, it's just like really impressive to be connected with people like that. But we need to be really just as connected, if not more, offline. And I think that technology has gotten us away from that. So I want to leave off on that note. I'm going to sign off, but I want to encourage y'all to just try to do more to plug in with people in your local community, as hard as that might be at times. There are more of us out there, but we've been isolated. And we need to find ways to plug in so that we have more social currency to help one another, because we have power in numbers, not just online, but definitely offline. So, all right, I am going to leave off on that note. And yeah, Holly is talking about people in the medical field having to get their stuff, their shots, but they're bucking that, and I'm happy for it. I'm happy for it. We need to support those people. If you know any nurses, police officers, firefighters offline, support them in refusing these mandates. All right, yeah, let's take our power back, Amp says. Totally agreed. All right, well, I'm signing off. Till next time, wishing you guys all the best. Be blessed.